I love that.
Anyway, good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to today's live Q&A with me and Mr. Chris Palmer, SEO,
That's me.
sponsored by the News Guy. The link is below if you're interested in seeing what the News Guy has to offer. It is digital PR services and a bunch of other stuff. What the fuck?
Yeah.
Oh, right. I had a YouTube video. I had the YouTube thing opened. I heard myself speaking there, and I'm like,
Well, it was very robust sound, and then it shrunk. I'm like, wait, what happened?
But anyway, on today's session, I have put in Black Hat SEO tips.
Oh no.
Just to encourage questions. It doesn't necessarily have to be about Black Hat SEO tips, but again, we don't want it just to be about GMB stuff or link building or fucking whatever. Give us some good ask questions in the chat so we can actually get our teeth into them and give you some good information if we can. But Randy is here. Hello, boys. But also, if you're just easywigging, let us know where you're from, where you're easywigging from. We need to know that the sessions are still working because there's much debate over the timing and everything else. But
much debate.
We'll give it one last bash at this time, and if it fails, we'll revert back to the other time. And if that fails, then we're doomed. But nah, I think it's a time thing now. I think StreamYard's in the bin. Cancelled that. So
I've been playing around with the times too. I tried in the morning, I've tried in the afternoons, and I've tried really late at night. Late at night doesn't usually work. Usually get about 10 people. But I've noticed that, like, I don't know what it is for me at like 4, 5 o'clock. Man, I mean, for me to get 30 to 50 people live is a lot for me.
Yeah.
So like I notice it booms at right there. I don't know what it is because I'll check, in your YouTube analytics, it'll tell you the times that your audience is supposedly online. So I found like the hottest one and I tried then and it didn't do anything for me. But right inside that last window at 5, because it's like, that's like a decent time for me. Like when little Chris is doing his repetitive writing out his words, his spelling words, I'll run down and do some stuff.
But that's when a lot of people are wrapping up for the day, and I could understand why that may work, or they could listen to it in the car on the way home, or whatever it may be. So I think that's why I kind of had it at these times in the UK, because that is the same for people in the UK. Either finishing up, they're not mid afternoon where their heads down and they're fucking in the midst of all the work that they're having to do. They're kind of winding down and maybe just listening in. That was always the kind of thought process for me in terms of the timing. But again, it's still like midday or even earlier for depending on where in the US you are. So yeah, but Abdul has a question anyway, which is better than us whining about
timing. Yeah.
Does link building via forms and filling businesses, will it give us boost to business for targeting keywords? So link building via forms, Chris.
I mean, business listings.
Business listings, yeah.
I mean, it's the only question that's here. So let's think about this briefly. So your only question, right? Your only question is, does link building via forms and filling businesses, will it boost to businesses targeting keywords? Where exactly are you sending these links to? I maybe I'm misinterpreting the question here, but you're link building via forms. I mean business listings.
So he means business listings, not forms. So I am making the assumption like citations and shit like that.
That's debatable. See, when you build out your directories, you build out your citations, you build out all of that stuff, a lot of it falls right out of the actual forward-facing index, right? You can't see it. However, if you keep repetitively building, you keep getting more links in, right? More links in as in showing up in the tool, showing up inside of search results. So if you've built a robust list to where you have a significant amount that's showing up in search results and the tools, what I have found is if you're tiering those links, I use GSA. I noticed that they'll stay in the index and you get more in the index. I even tested it too. If you build 100, you probably get about 23 extras that stick inside the index.
Mm.
So do I feel that you're getting more of a boost? That's hard to say because you're doing a lot of other work as well. Like not only are we going to build links to the links that already exist, but we're building new links, we're building pages, we're re-optimizing pages. There's a lot going on. So can I just say it's just that? That's very, very difficult to say. But is it easy to do? It's very easy. So anything that I could fit into my repetitive process that's easy to scale, we do it because it's easy, it's fast, it's simple. I get more citations and directories to index. It's fast, it's easy. So we do it. So I don't know how much that helps you, but I hope it does.
Yeah. He's left absolutely fuck all for me to add, Abdul. Nothing in the slightest, but
I try. I saw Randy the other day. Man, Randy, I hope everything's all. I hope you're doing well. I hope you're doing well. I saw him the other day, man. I think it was just your last live or the live before that.
Yeah.
Holly was home. I don't know if he just hasn't shaved or if it's just getting cold there or what. But man, he looked so different. I was like, man, he looks a lot different. I hope you're well, my friend.
He's fine. This is deliberate.
Oh, okay.
Randy is going through the little phase of growing the beard for Christmas and whatever. I think his wife's already been on at him to get the fucking thing shaved off, but he's wanting to, give it a grow out. So he's not destitute or anything.
Yeah, I saw. I was like, man, Randy looks different. I don't know, man. Yeah. I thought he was going through that phase. Like you go through that work phase, it's like, all right, I'm just working, or I'm just like, or sometimes maybe you get down, like, but he seemed happy, he seemed up. That's why I was like, I don't think it's that one. I don't think he's depressed. I'm like, what's going on with Randy? I hope he's all right. Yeah.
All good. Anyway, PA USA here from Roger Stanley. I found myself dusting off GSA more and more over the past year or two. Anything cool you've been using it for other than tier 2 or tier 3, Chris?
Anything cool? Well, I can't think of anything cool, man. But I think it goes into process. It's part of work. His name's Riyadh, actually. Riyadh, one of his main jobs is to not only build citations and directories, but also I have 2 servers that are set up that have 2 installations or 2 instances each, right? Just it's one, and then we fire it up again. And we're building GSA to them. So other than that, no. I don't know how cool that is. And I've tried all different ways too. I've gotten Xevil to see if we could get more. We go and we check the emails to see if we get more, but no, it's pretty much been the same usage for us. I found that you get a few more indexed. They stay indexed. It feels like the sites get a little bit more power because when we're building the tiers to them, we're utilizing branded anchors. So it feels like you get more indexed, it's part of the process. So other than that, no, nothing cool, my friend. Nothing cool. That's about it.
Not much else I can even add to that either, Roger. Sorry. It's fucking. I mean, there's not much else you can really do with it, is there, Chris? Unless you want to try and torch someone's stuff.
But that's not even that. Yeah. Is it useful for that? Torching? Maybe torture.
Yeah, torture. Make them think they're getting attacked.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Like for fun, but
how effective it is obviously up for much debate. But yeah,
that's been debated though. I mean, I think it's been put to bed.
Yeah. Ursol is here. Good to see you, mate. We do have questions popping, Chris. So
I love it.
Let's go into things. Ideal, I mean some of the websites giving us a slot for filling the content. Due to demand, we forcefully build links because guest posts and outreach requires patience. So in the directories, there is a slot for filling in the content.
Well, I think so. We're utilizing this tool in two separate ways. In my opinion, see, and you might think differently, I'm using it as it was meant to be used. Pure spam. I'm spamming to death what already exists. Now, there is other functionalities built within that we can fill in forms, and I've tried that. I've gone through, there's a gentleman online, I don't know what his name of the week is, but his name's Chase. I went through his training. I thought it was very clever. And it was filling out forms in order to get a pitch. And yes, you can send out thousands. And then when the replies that I got were derogatory and FU and or automated. So it wasn't effective for me. So filling out forms in order to do outreach, that's not the tool for that, in my opinion. There's just not enough customization or personal touch to it. And then on the other side, I'm using it purely for spam, as in my opinion, it was meant to be used. And the owners love me for it because I have lots of licenses and I use it very consistently. But nah, that's it. I don't use it for outreach. Outreach doesn't cost it. It's not patience. It's dollars is what I have found. There's a lot of lists available. And I think that moving forward with Connectively and it was previously Haro, acquiring the lists it does take patience, but more so dollars.
Yeah.
And I think that's the way forward. But what do I know? I'm still learning too.
James is saying, I'm doing your entity stacking course in IMG. I'm assuming that's yours, Chris, and not mine because I don't have one. You said not to point these to the money site. Is that still the case? And also, when stacking Google Stack on top of Google Stack, and I'm just trying to see what the other part of the question is. Do you do the double G stack plus Web 2.0 with branded anchors?
Wow. Well, note, I talked to Andrew and Kyle when they first released IMG. And that was it was literally the first training listed on that platform, right? I don't know how many years ago that was. So refreshing me with this question here. With that said, let me read through this quick. You said not to build directly to the site. That's a good idea. The only time we'll utilize a stack to point to the asset if it's a single service, single location asset. And we've done it 195 times. I showed it within the group. We have literally 195, maybe more by now. With that being said, double the stack, it doesn't mean double the power. I think you're just doing double the work, maybe wasting your time. Also in double G stacks, Web 2.0, I'm utilizing Web 2.0 at the time. I don't utilize this strategy anymore, just to be 100% transparent with you. Unless it's a single service, single location, that's the only time. I'm utilizing the Web 2.0s just as a additional buffer. Because at the time when I made this training, the Web 2s were still indexing very, very well at a high rate. They still had a lot of power. In 2024, moving into 2025, that list has really shrunk. So I think that the new way, in my opinion, the better way, is substitute the Web 2 for directory. You get a lot more directories, a lot cheaper, a lot faster that stay indexed, that we can utilize as the buffer. And they're a lot better for local sites, which I work on. I hope that answers all the questions. I hope that helps you.
Brian Winham, Black Hat Poolside Chat.
That's
I'll say no more.
I'll say name, no Brian W.
Brian W.
Is that your real name?
You know Brian.
I think I do, yeah. But I'm see the picture. I'm like, wait, is that his real name? Is that Brian? I know that face, but is his name Brian?
Yeah.
Okay.
Unless he's got me fooled as well, but I've met him in person and he looked like that, but whether his name's actually Brian, I didn't get
Right.
evidence. Like I didn't see ID, but
Yeah, let
he
me see
said
your
his
ID.
name was Brian. He said his name was Brian, and Joe told me his name was Brian. And I think Joe works with or for him or something. So yeah. But nah, Brian's a real guy as far as I'm led to believe. And believe you me, I know the difference between a real guy. I've seen Brian in action. So not just meeting him and shaking his hand at a conference, I've seen him somewhere else. But that's all I'm going to say.
Ah,
But
Kung Fu Master.
lovely guy. Just making you sweat a bit there, Brian. But Randy is doing well. He's got the November beard going. So glad you confirmed that, Randy, because I was starting to doubt it. I'm like, maybe I should have asked Randy if he was okay. But hey,
He seemed chipper though. Like I was really watching him to see. Like, you know, when it was direct questions, yeah, it's good on all smiles. But what about when the spotlight wasn't on him? What was his demeanor like?
yeah.
You know, was he sitting forward? Was he sitting back? Was he engaged or not? Was he smiling or not? But he seemed engaged the whole time. He was very happy. He's Randy, normal Randy. He seemed okay to me, but he was just growing a beard. Makes sense.
Yeah.
I thought he was on the grind. I was like, oh, he's got something new. I wonder what he's working on.
Abdul is saying we saw some of the guys with semantic SEO and around the strategies by mentioning the Corey way. We really need to create topical maps. So there's not a question there, but yes, absolutely. Good. Corey's a smart guy. He knows his shit, and absolutely.
Good luck. Have fun. Go do that. And I'll be trying to rank for high commercial intent key terms. Good luck to you, my friend.
Ursol has a nice Black Hat question. Would it be Black Hat if I sent a phishing email for someone to change their IP in their A record to my server IP with a fake version of their website and build links that way?
No, definitely not. It sounds all on the up and up to me.
Have you done that before, Chris?
No, I don't do my complete shift. You can even see it within YouTube. My whole outlook on this game, the SEO, completely changed. Like maybe once upon a time, but dude, negative in, negative out. I don't do anything that's no, I don't do anything, dude. I'm good. I'm trying to help business owners get more phone calls, and that's it. Everything else, I'm good. Good luck to you, my friend. I'm good.
Oh, for fuck's sake. I'm just looking at Ursul's next question, but we'll come to that in a second. James, the keyword's exactly the same in each part of the stack, even though you have 2 G stacks. Don't know if that was an add-on to the other thing that you were asking. I am kind of...
I could see variations of key terms and doubling. Yes, but that's, again, during that time, I was looking for, at my time, at that present moment in time, in strategy, my only objective was to get as much, what's the word I'm looking for? The most, the most result for the least amount of dollars. Now I'm trying to get the best result in the least amount of time. My time. Big difference, big shift in strategy. I want to spend the least amount of time that's going to get the best result. That's my goal now. Building stacks takes too much time. It's too much time. And when I start looking at time to result, the cost to reward ratio isn't there. So I move strategy. Now I want to get there as fast and as cheap as possible. Building stacks takes too much time, brother. Or I would tell you different. I'm the cheapest guy out there. But sometimes it's if I can save time and it costs me dollars, it actually saved me and made me more money. So just a shift in thinking. That's all.
I can just reaffirm that Chris is a very frugal man. I love that word. But a few people were actually asking me last week at the conferences I was at, they're like, what's Chris like? And I was telling them some stories. I told them the story about the strawberry daiquiri that you got, and you ended up having, you thought it was a freebie and stuff. I'm like, he's a frugal man.
Hey, it's free. Bring it over here.
So,
yes.
Yeah, always fun.
Saving money's making money.
But Roger, any other questions, do put them in the chat. The same goes for anyone else. Also, do give us a like and subscribe on the channel if you don't already. But Ursol is asking, how can I delete a competitor's GMB listing? Is that possible, Chris?
Depending on the listing strength. If you have a listing that's been active for longer than a year and has numerous reviews, it's going to be relatively difficult. However, there's a lot of players that'll come up and out very quickly out the gate with an exact match in a particular area. We offer that as a takedown. You can take those down. If you have a strong enough account, you could take those out. But a real player, I think it's very difficult. Not that I would do that. Again, I try to stay on the up and up here. See, that's another game. See, to me, it's not bad karma. If this guy's stomping on my client, taking food from my client's family's mouth, and I crush them like a bug that they are, I don't think that's bad karma. I think that's good karma. Right? There's a difference, but I'm not seeking to cause havoc, But if they're in my way, it is what it is.
Yeah.
Yeah. Next question.
Arjan, I'm not too sure who you're asking this to, but Chris, are you an indie app developer?
No, but I do employ two that move very slowly. Why? Do you need a job?
Speak to Chris, because I am certainly not one of those.
No.
But
I dabble, like I asked Gemini for helpful hints on how to make scripts. And then I get these like cut and paste scripts that kind of function. And then I go to my guy and I say, hey, I got this script. Can you make this a web app? And he's like, I don't know, Chris, give me $1,000. I'm like, okay, do it.
Fuck's sake.
Yeah.
Abdul has a question. Can you give us the Google Search Console strategy for maintaining old and new keywords and when to add new pages? We work for businesses who sell email lists.
Well, okay. So maintaining old and new. So I think what we're asking about, and my terminology could be wrong. It's just how I think of it. Competitive gap analysis or keyword gap analysis. So maintaining the integrity of the page, which is based upon one primary key term, right? Let's just say you're going for Houston plumber, but then you're looking at your search console and you see that the page is starting to get high impressions, but ranking low for other key terms. So we're adding those key terms to the page. And that's it. I'm maintaining the integrity of the primary key term while adding other key terms to the page. But if I notice that there's a key term that could be its own page, I create another page. And how do you know? Well, you look at the page that you're getting impressions for, and you look at the integrity of the page, the primary key term of this page, and I go to Google and I type it in. Does Google show different results? If yes, they show different results, I create a new page. That's the strategy in a nutshell. I don't know if you could put that together without a visual representation, but we do that every day. I think everybody does that, right? Yeah. Okay. I don't know if that's new, but I've been doing that since I learned this little SEO thing.
I'm just curious whose email list you're selling.
Yeah, that's a whole other piece of the question.
But James Crouch is saying, thanks, Chris. So G-Stack to directory like Yale, would you still do the AWS to the G-Stack?
AWS was devalued, where what has been Google has a lot of servers, and Microsoft still gets value. AWS was devalued, so that would be a hard pass. But I'm noticing I work with a guy in Connecticut, and I'm seeing that he's starting to get some pushed in, right? The S3s. So I'm seeing in one market, but I know that Microsoft stuff is still getting love. Google, of course, their cloud features get a lot of love. But to go back to this, what I'm reading here, exactly. So if the Yelps, your top 12, right? Those top 12 always land. What I mean by land is show up, right? So you have more than one service and you probably service more than one location. So if this is what you're asking to develop, let's say you're on a tight budget, you have your stack, which is easy to create, especially with tools right now. So I would create each of those 12 for each location that we provide that service in, and then point the stack to it. If I was on a budget, I have the tool to create them. That could be helpful. But look at the top 12, and that's what I would utilize. Hopefully that helps. Those always hit.
Hopefully.
Hopefully.
Our Sol, with DR and Ahrefs traffic being so easy to cheat, can we really continue to trust all you link sellers?
But so is, see, SEMrush put their AS scores broken down into 3 parts. It was driving me crazy because a lot of guys were looking at that as if a trust metric. So what I figured out was, it's broken into 3 parts. You can see it when they released that new network graph. It shows you the amount of links, the power of those links, and the traffic going to said links. So is Ahrefs. So is Moz. They all have a metric. It takes a skilled eye to look at the links and know, okay, this is quality. This is quality. Oh, this is a DR56, but it only has 10 referring domains. You go and look at the site. It has 2 billion posts on it. Okay, this has been manipulated. I think it still takes a level of skill. This is just a barometer. These tools are a barometer, a gauge to help us get to the answers. That's all. Hopefully that helps you out there, Arsol. But yeah, they are easy to cheat.
But yeah, obviously, when I'm teaching people about stuff, I'm telling people what to look for to figure that shit out, because there is a lot of fucking scammers out there, like, a website that is a DR60 that doesn't rank for any keywords, that has no traffic. All of that shit is easy to fool the fucking dummy with, and sadly, that is very, very common in the market. So I'm not saying you can trust all link sellers, but I think you've got to know more about what you're looking for, and it's got to meet certain metrics. And we all have our own little quirks in terms of what we determine is a good and a bad link. But if it is going to be based on just traffic and DR, think again. Yeah.
I think, how many referring domains, how many outbound links are there is another key that I'm looking for. I don't know about anybody else.
Outbound links is one that I always talk about. And, if you look at Market Watch, for example, there's a reason that Market Watch is $10 or $5 if you're buying it in bulk, because of the sheer volume of outbound links on that website. I mean, you couldn't charge any more for it. It's just, it's fucked. It's a nice, big, powerful overall website, and it gets a ton of traffic, but I wouldn't give you more than I wouldn't even pay for it. I'd rather not have it, to be honest.
Maybe not your page, though, right?
Yeah.
It's a huge site, but when you're on page 9 trillion and it's 47 levels deep, yeah, good luck. Yeah, it's a good link in a little package, though. It shows up nice, like Market Watch DR92 or whatever it is. A little something, a little treat. It's like a biscuit for the pup.
Nah, dude. If you sent me that and that was flung in, I'd go, that's a fucking dirty dog move, chucking that in to try and fucking skew me up and make it look like I get more. That game, Chris. Come on.
It comes in the packs, though. They throw it in as a bonus. It's in like all the main distributions.
I'd rather they gave me something a bit more unique as a bonus.
Yeah, that would be cool. Yes. That's fair. Fair enough. I can't disagree.
I'm a frugal man.
I know. I know.
But Abdul is saying the email list is 10,000 plus. Landing page can be created. You know what I mean? How can we maintain and adjust the strategy and monthly with a roadmap? Don't want to sound too complex. So that was obviously following on from the Search Console question.
I still am not 1,000% sure what you're asking me. You have a list. Well, we started with the GSA forms, business listings. Then it was list, and now this. I'm not sure exactly what. Just be blatant. What are you asking exactly? You have a 10,000 piece list. Are you asking me? Do I think you should blast it and see if you can get on those sites? Yes, yes, I do. But other than that, I'm not sure exactly what you're asking me, my friend. I like that hat though.
Anyway,
we know Trig's messaging. Yo, send that list to me. Let me take a look and see. I'll see what you should do with that.
I did think about it.
I'll tell you right now.
But Liam is saying, I launched a new geo on my website a couple of months ago with a few core pages and started pushing out articles. The articles have been slowly declining in clicks week on week. Any suggestions?
Yes. So, all right. I see this I see this a lot. So I'm assuming, or I hope, that you've built out your core pages, your core service, core location plus service. And then you just started creating articles randomly. And then in the first 90 days, maybe even only the first 30 days, Google is sending you a little bit of love. But you just let those pages sit. You never went back, you never re-optimized, you never retuned, and they're probably not supporting anything. They're just informational pieces that are kind of related to your overall topic, right? I think if you spend more time re-optimizing and retuning what already exists, right? The high commercial intent, the location service, and then build supporting content that directly supports those pages, right? Like, how much does this cost? When should I get it? Who should I buy? Who's the best that offers this? Those types of things. I think you'll do a lot better. But the big one, and I had to learn this the hard way too, is the re-optimizing. You can't just create a piece and let it sit forever. Like, yes, you create 100 pieces, 20 of them hit. What about the rest? Like, it takes re-optimization and re-submitting before it all starts picking up traffic. Yes. So I hope that helps you. It's a pain. I know, dude. Trust me. I go through this. I know. It's stupid. Like, why are these right here? Why did these just go? Well, because they did. You got to retune those other ones. But the strategy is primary location, supporting content to support the main idea, whatever you're pitching. Truck accident lawyer, car accident lawyer, plumber, I don't know, drain cleaner. I don't know what you do. I hope that helps you.
Cool. AJT98. I'm not even going to try and say that name. I'm just going to. I'm buying a competitor website and looking to merge the domain into my own domain. Both are in the same industry and sell the same products. Aside from redirects, is there anything to be aware of? I noticed the site has a decline in traffic recently, but from updates, it's not a manual action. Is this a concern?
Okay. So we have two assets. We have two existing assets. This one it sells relatively the same products. It's declining in traffic. We have this asset here that's fruitful. We're putting our energy into. I would take a look at the one that's declining and take a look. What's declining? Is it brand? Is it brand because the site isn't getting any more love? Also, take a look at the internal pages and take a look at their existing backlink profiles. What category of link is pointing in? Also, what type of traffic is coming in? Is it informational? Is it commercial? Then I would look at those individual pages and point them into the highest relevant pages that I have on my existing site. Don't just 301 the whole thing. Don't 301 individual pages, all of them. Don't do the homepage. only the pages that are getting traffic that have exactly the same category of link that I have on my new site. Those are the ones I would take each individual page that's getting traffic, same category of link, and point it to the pages that make the most sense. That's what I would do. I hope that makes sense to you. Again, I had to learn that the hard way.
Yeah.
It's category of link pointing in, and then what am I getting traffic for? And then go page to page. It has to be very, very close. And don't mix brands. Like homepage, all the links are going to the homepage. I'm going to fire that into an internal page. I tried that trick too. That doesn't work either. Like get rid of that. I don't want none of that brand crap. Keep that, hold that. Just the individual high commercial intent key terms or information and point that in as long as there's some type of backlink. But the backlink category has to be on point too. It has to be at least similar. I can't point in commercial and internet and then all these pages are, pets and automotive. You know what I'm saying? Hopefully that helps you. Individual pages that make sense.
Yeah.
Probably just meh. Get rid of it.
Ursol, we did make fake news articles saying a competitor's business closed down, which did actually work as the GMB team believed it. That's a interesting concept. I like that idea, man. I'm going to fucking note that down. Nah, I'm not. But yeah, Chris, come on. I can see you smirking. You've appreciated that one. You're like,
I appreciate it. I think it's interesting. I'm trying to think though of. So wait, you put out all these articles and then requested for close down? Like, that's interesting. Maybe.
I don't think the people, all of the people that work at these places that are checking this stuff out, I don't think they know their left arm from their right arm. So I can see that working. Absolutely. So as long as they buy into it, happy days. Well, maybe for you.
For somebody, yeah.
But do DDoS attacks on competitors still work against sites with no caching setup? If so, what software could I use to implement and price these?
Most sites and most what's the word I'm looking for? Your standard hosting type companies have some type of load balancing. In the rare case that you may have a competitor or competitors that aren't utilizing a stock standard, GoDaddy, HostGator brand for their hosting, you might be able to get it off. But then are they using Cloudflare? Are they using a reverse proxy like that? Most sites now have some type of load balancing, or they're utilizing a CDN of some sort where they can handle this traffic, or it's just going to get blocked. However, if you are going to do it, I think I would be looking for some type of stress testing application. There's a lot out there, not in the United States, but there are a lot of stress testing sites or companies out there that have utilization of a lot of servers that you could stress test things. Not in the United States, so not in Canada, not in the UK, not in Australia. But I think you can find stress testing companies that could possibly help you do this adequately. But again, a lot of sites now, especially if they're using actual hosting, they're prepared. So good luck.
Also, maybe if you're searching, stress booter is sometimes the terminology where you might find an application like that. Not that I would know in any way, shape, or form. But I do know that a lot of these applications change name on a regular basis. But again, that's just something one of my friends told me. I don't know for a fact. Yeah. But yeah, stress booter maybe something you're looking for. But hey, we'll move on quickly. Aryan, what backlink strategy to employ for a new domain? Foundation links and high DA, PA drip fed over months. That's a hard one because it depends on your budget, Arjan. Do you go for foundational, high-powered stuff, drip-fed, or do you go for good quality, relevant, more expensive ones? It's niche dependent. I think always doing foundational links is important. High DA, absolutely. If you can build some up, authority and trust from kind of high DA news websites, typically, absolutely. And if you can do guest posts and digital PR or whatever else you can afford to do, then do them. Does it have to be drip fed over months? I don't think you could really personally buy enough to get yourself banned unless you're using some form of automation or something that you shouldn't be doing. So I wouldn't be too concerned about drip feeding them on. If the budget's there, could you go and crank out a whole bunch of that stuff all at the one time? Absolutely.
Oh yeah.
So
that's a fact. It's always link building is budget, big time. And then too, I hear this is the problem too. I run it at least with local websites. They see the digital PRs, they see all this high quality sites, but I'm like, dude, you're a plumber in Idaho. Like, I don't think you need $500 links, bro. At least not 100 of them. Maybe 2 or 3 to every page. So I think budget, the drip feed, you can really hammer a site before you get in trouble. Yeah. So I guess back to the question, I think it's great to have your essentials covered. Essentials would insinuate to Google who you are, what you do, and where you do it. Your citations, your main directories, geo directories, niche directories, any type of paid directory. And then I would start moving into higher powered digital PR and or guest posts going to the high commercial intent pages. That's it. Now, how long that takes you or if it's drip fed is based upon budget generally, usually. But good luck to you, Aaron. Aaron. You know your name. Hopefully I didn't.
Abdul says, Craig and Chris have been watching you guys for a long time. Chris, like the way of clarity and actions, he does more than he speaks. Craig has a natural inclination towards him. We incline.
I think it's a compliment, and thank you, sir. The wording is unique, my friend Abdul. I don't know if you're using like a translator or something, but it looks like a compliment.
What I think it says, where I've got a natural inclination towards Chris because he does good work and he's crazy and he thinks outside the box, then absolutely. Absolutely. I say that to anyone. They're like, is that Chris not a bit fucking crazy? Like, what the fuck? I'm like,
oh yeah,
absolutely. But that is what I absolutely love about the guy. Like, just crazy, excitable, blows shit up, tries shit out. Absolutely. I've got a natural inclination towards anyone like that. When I first seen Chris in my chats on YouTube, and he was always asking fucking weird, oddball questions and stuff like that. And absolutely, and he reached out. Do you want to do one together? I'd love to answer some questions. I love being helpful. Absolutely. And then you see all the shit he does and all the weird shit. Absolutely. I am going to be inclined towards someone like that. That's what I love. I love seeing on other people. It's just a bit of crazy and not giving a fuck to try stuff out. And I think that's massively successful in this industry because too many people are scared stiff not to come out of the box, if that makes sense. And I think that's a massive skill that Chris has. And absolutely, I have a natural inclination towards that. So, yeah, Chris does a lot more than he speaks as well. Chris doesn't always give up everything, as you wouldn't. Absolutely not. So, he does a lot more than he probably would like to give himself credit for. So
Perhaps.
your observations, Abdul, seem to be good.
Correct.
So absolutely, if that's what you meant. But Ursol, does the trick still work when you steal a competitor's content via RSS alerts and then force index it on your site before theirs gets picked up by Google? Absolutely. You're saying no, Chris?
Well, I know a young lady, great young lady in our industry, right? I won't say any names because I don't, I don't talk, right? But I will say when I saw, I'm sure it does work, but is that the route we want to take? Like when that started happening, I put cyber SEO to the side. You know what I'm saying? Because I was having a great fun with that, right? I'm good. That's a hard pass. Unless you have processes in place in order to ensure being undetectable, I wouldn't. I would steer clear, my friend.
I
Good luck.
would tend to agree. Is that long term the way forward? Absolutely not. But for fun,
For fun, yeah.
it can happen. Now, what I will also say is a step above that. I had a friend, Gary Wilson. Actually, you know who he is. Gary had a CBD website back in the day, and him and one of his friends built out this CBD website. Now, they had hosting problems with it, so they had to move server. And there was a bit of problem. There was problems. The hosting was shit. So anyway, they pulled the website from one server to another, but the whole process took about 2 weeks. They were fucking around. So anyway, they put it back up in the new server, and the rankings didn't come back. Gary is fucking. He's went to all these technical guys. He's went through the hosting. He's like, there's something fucking wrong. My website's not been picked up. Blah 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 blah. Fucking nothing's getting picked up at all. And anyway, he says to me, Craig, can you have a look at this? So I've ran through it, and I'm like, man, this is giving me duplicate content stuff. I'm feeling it's duplicate content. And he's like, nah, it can't be. I fucking wrote that stuff myself. I know I wrote it. It's not.
I was up all night writing it.
Dude, some fucking dirty dog had pinched all the content whilst his website was down. So now that his is back up, they didn't get fucking credit for it, and he had to get all his content rewritten. So there are people who look at things and wait for content. And
the site that pinched it, I'm just curious. Is that site still online?
I couldn't tell.
No, it went down magically. I wonder what happened.
I couldn't tell that. But yeah, I didn't want to go into too much detail there. But yeah, that happens, and he's like, "You're fucking kidding me!" So we're going through Copyscape and everything. We're like, "There's no way I fucking wrote that." He's like, "I was up to 3 a.m. writing this fucking bullshit." So the concept works, but is it the right thing to be doing? That's the debatable part. So,
right. But it does work.
Anyway, James Crouch, would one G-stack link to multiple directory links or one stack per directory link?
Would one G-stack link to multiple directory links? Or no. The entire stack is pointing. That's the objective. That's all. Because you're just buffering. That's all. You're utilizing the directory as opposed to a Web 2 or a cloud asset. That's all. You're just using the directory because it's hyper relevant to your niche. They actually index, they stay indexed, and as of today, they're a much better resource. That's all. But I'm taking my list, and instead of blasting it to my site or to the cloud assets or to anything else, when I'm making each of my elements within the stack, I'm just utilizing the directories that are actually there. And it just so happens that my list of directories, I have directories built for each service for each location, and it just so happens to be the top 12 that always stay indexed. Then I take that list, 3 services times 10 locations, whatever it is, 60 links, 80 links, whatever it is. Put that into your slide, your form, your right, and then you're pointing it over. That's all. You're just utilizing the directory as the buffer. That's the objective. That's all. But again, there's time. That's time. Unless you have a tool, there's a lot of time and effort there. There are more effective ways. The path of least resistance is not with GStacks. It can work. It is effective for single location, single service. But there is better ways. That's all. It works, but there's better ways.
Abdul saying it can be tricky. Can we depend on the WordPress site for bigger learning management sites because they have admin, student, teachers? I use Podia. I've used Thinkific. I have used
Are you using Podia now?
Yeah, I'm on Podia.
My man.
I don't know who recommended that, but Podia is nice. By the way, it's nice.
It takes care of everything.
I didn't quite like the overall interface. I don't think it was as good as some, but everything else in it works really well. And
cost to value ratio.
So yeah,
I
but
know.
Something like that, Abdul, is better than trying to use an LMS on WordPress, in my opinion. I'm not saying there's anything wrong with using WordPress, but I specifically like Podia, and then you can mail people through it, and you can, whatever on there, or it depends if it's a monthly thing or whatever. I've got Mighty Network, so if someone stops paying, they no longer have access. I don't need to go in and delete them. There's various functionality in there that makes it worth looking at some of the other stuff. Whereas on WordPress, to my knowledge, and I've not used an LMS in recent years, it didn't have all of those functions, which was why I was like, nah, this is fucking hard work. So I liked something that was off the shelf, that was built for the purpose that I was looking to use it for. So hopefully that helps you.
Oh man, are you coming for my keyword?
What one?
Are you coming for SEO Mastermind?
Yeah.
No, you can't have that one. Pick a different one.
I've got an SEO Mastermind. What the fuck?
All right, fuck it. Get down and lay down. We'll join up then.
Dude, you're either working with me or against me.
I'll work with you.
Where am I in terms of ranking?
I was like, wait, he's on Podia. He's on the same server. Wait, what keywords is he going for? And I started looking. I'm like, well, yeah, but you're going, private. Okay. Well, privates. I like SEO Mastermind. I mean, I think it's going to be hard to take over SEO Mastermind. Private, I won't go after those. But I was looking for testing and then SEO Mastermind. Testing Mastermind and SEO Mastermind.
SEO Mastermind, I do rank for it, but I'm not trying to push the Podia for it. I'm trying to push my own domain for it, which I think I'm in position 5 or 6. So, yeah.
Okay. Oh, and my there was speaking of takeover, I had a guy, he made a listing for me, right? But to talk crap on me, like a GMB listing, he just put like a 1 star. So I went and took that and made it SEO Mastermind. Got you, whoever you are, Jeff Blatchard or whatever your name is. Good looking on that. Dude, messing with the big dog. Like, come on. I mean, yeah, it shows a 3 point whatever, but it was fun. I appreciate it. He went through the trouble making it and all that.
Yeah.
Snatched it. He attached it to my domain. What a knucklehead. I don't know how he did that, but anyway, it doesn't matter. Good looking, Jeff, whoever you are. I don't even know him.
I'm going to make the presumption that your real name's not Jeff, but hey.
That's true. Yeah, you never know who's plotting, man. The SEO industry is weird, man.
Oh.
I don't think about other people. Like,
Yeah.
I don't think about like going out of my way to like do something to somebody. Like if I'm working towards something, maybe they might get ran over, but I don't go out of my way to like hurt somebody. Like what?
Yeah.
I would never do that. Like that's me though. And I'm Black Hat. Like what the heck? Oh well.
But with the new FTC laws, is it best to stay away from SMM panels? I assume UK and EU will have something similar soon.
Dude, these guys. I've had the luxury recently because I'm looking to. I want. What I'm realizing with these panels is that they're sharing. They have access to a lot of accounts, but they're sharing. They're taking all bets though, meaning like they'll promote roofers, doctors, lawyers, Botox, anything, right? And then they're sharing and they're doing that. I've had the luxury because I'm trying to create a custom that's just for SEO or digital marketing.
Mm-hmm.
So I've seen how many accounts some of these guys have. Do I think that they can put the kibosh to all of them or regulate all of them? And then a lot of these guys are in faraway lands. I find that hard. Do they even care? They don't. What are you going to take? That they don't like. It's not like they have like a mansion by the ocean. Like what? They don't have nothing to lose. This is how they earn. They're going to keep doing it. You know what I'm saying? So no, I don't think. It is what it is.
Sol, should I ban GPT bot and Google extended in my robots TXT to block AI bots? Is that something you do or would consider doing, Chris?
People standing in the light. See, the objective if you're doing anything wrong is you want to look like everyone else. That's why you go and get the servers you get. That's what, right? You get the top level TLDs, right? You get the better service. No, people that are on the up and up or standing in the light or doing stuff by the book aren't doing that. So I want to look like everyone else. I don't see that. No, I wouldn't do that. That's me though.
Yeah.
Kind of like I see some guys with these PBNs and they're blocking everything. I'm like, what the? Who blocks everything? Nobody except for you.
The footprint in itself.
Yes.
So, yeah, I get why people would want to block, their PBN or whatever. You just don't want your competitor snooping on shit and all that. But
what a clear way to wave a flag, though. Block everything that's like just standing there saying, "Hey, I'm blocking you." That's like just begging for it.
We don't know, live F1 fan, on that stuff, but we'll see what happens. Just got to dodge the bullets as they come in. How to force index links, Chris? What is your quickest, fastest way of force indexing links?
Well, I have a service. I can give you the roundabout. Here's what we're doing. I won't give you all the pieces, but I'll tell you this. What we found is that cloud assets allow you to submit sitemaps that don't only contain your links. And that's how we do it. Usually when you're submitting a sitemap, you only have to submit the site that you're submitting. But we have found a workaround. And that's how we do it.
Abdul, I am going to answer this one. So obviously we do the YouTube thing once a week. We do both offer paid consultancy. If people want to convey that over the phone, you can do a simple call and all that kind of stuff. So we do that. Obviously, it's not something that I would certainly accept, through Facebook or other mediums, because I get 500 of those a day, and I'm not interested in sitting there all day and all night, answering people's questions just because I've got work to do and I've got a family and, I just want to switch off sometimes. So it is paid consultancy that I stick to. I do the free thing, twice a week. And if people don't want to pay for paid consultancy, we both also have masterminds, which are a lot more lower cost. And again, you can potentially get time in there and stuff like that. But on that note, it's really hard to grasp Craig's slang. I do know that, but it's the best we can do. But
I never have any trouble though. I always hear people say that. I catch pretty much everything.
Yeah, it depends. Obviously, for someone who's maybe not listening to it every week, it can be rough. I get that. Yeah. Productivity tool to manage teams and build a team from beginning to scratch. Productivity tools are far and wide. It comes down to personal choice. I think. What are you using for productivity tools, Chris?
So I really like. Man, I really want to use Chaprad's agency simplifier. As soon as he adds one more feature, I think that's the way to go. The cost to value ratio on agency simplifier is fire. I think that's a great productivity tool. It's got a front end, a back end. I'm waiting for one functionality, but currently we're using SPP, which is great for the back end, hard for sales. But in the last 2 years, I think I've weeded out those issues. So that's why I'm building Black HAT SEO, a much more refined product. Yeah. So, but those are the two that we use. Now, I've seen guys using Asana and Google and all this stuff, but then there's other stuff like the team chat, processing the orders, being able to talk to the people, the emails, everything. Like I want it all in one, easy to use, and the two that I have found that do everything that I want, plus keep track of everything is SPP and Agency Simplifier. I'm sure there's other ways, but that's best for me.
And finally, a very last question. Are Wayback restorations immoral?
I don't believe so. No, you're doing the web a favor. If there's something that is of value and you're bringing it back to life, I think you're doing a justice. Yeah, I think it's a good thing.
The only thing I would really say to Ursol is I've done it. I got the National Birds of Prey Association website years ago, and I've done that, and they reached out and they were like, I see what you've done and blah, 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 but that fucking logo is copyright and all that kind of stuff. So, they were going to the hosting company and, they were liaison and saying, like, dude, you need to fucking at least take the fucking logo down. So you can run into little problems stuff. So, yeah. But, yeah, out with that. Yeah, I mean, there are little problems, copyright issues and stuff, but, out with that, I think it's a moral thing to do. I think you're doing the right thing. And,
absolutely. Especially if you launch them and well, never mind. I better. I had a really good run with Cialis, and we were taking sites, launching them, putting all the pages up except for the homepage. And we were offering our services within the homepage and doing very well with that. I ran into those same troubles though, just like that.
Yeah.
Like, hey, I noticed that, and then the homepage is like
normally when they reach out direct, they just get told to fuck off. But when they go to the hosting company, it's a bit more problematic.
And Namekeep doesn't play. They just shut your stuff off.
Yeah.
Well, at least they do to me. Yeah.
So anyway, that is us for Black HAT SEO tips. Great questions. Great. Yeah, that went really well. So happy with that. But we are out of time. We will be back at the same time next week because that time's working, I think. So we'll be back at the same time next week. But before you go, do check out chrispalmer.org or Chris Palmer SEO on Google or whatever, YouTube, and do check out the news guy. His link is below. And we will see you at the same time next week. And if you are listening in later on, make sure you leave us a comment below to let us know you were here, and like and subscribe and all that kind of stuff.
Yes. And write the word Black HAT. Black HAT, Black HAT, Black HAT.
Yeah.
Or don't. It depends on Craig.